computer, and there we go. All right, guys. Hi, this is Stephanie here. It is March 20th. Super excited to come and speak with you guys today. How's everybody doing? Everyone's doing good? Good. Today's the first day of spring. And so definitely, I know for those that are in colder weather, it's actually beautiful here. So it's a beautiful, warm, cool, kind of warm day. Look at my mom. She's like, but anyway, guys, thank you so very much for taking the time to come on. I know that you guys are incredibly busy, and so I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that we can get started immediately on our topic and go over announcements. And so let me go ahead and share my screen. Share screen, my desktop. All right, can you guys see my slide there? Awesome. Okay, so the topic, so I'm going to talk a little bit today. Today's going to be centered around kind of a little bit about kind of more so like lessons that I've learned. I've been coach now for almost 4 years in July. It's crazy how fast it's gone and how much things have changed and how I have changed and how the team has changed and who's still here, who's no longer here. And so today's call is going to be a little bit more kind of centered around mindset and just kind of giving you guys some insight. And I like kind of what I'm going to be discussing today because it can be applied to coaches yourself. Kind of as I'm kind of going through the different types of coaches, I want you to ask yourself kind of what type of coach are you and where you fit along this spectrum. And then it can also be applied to customers. It can also, it can be applied both ways. So whether you have a team or whether they're customers, but the mindset is the same. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and start with announcements. So I have a couple announcements. Number one, we have a 3-day sneak peek going on later this week. For those of you that are not familiar with the 3-day sneak peek, it's basically a group. It's going to be in an event page, and it's going to be us sharing about the coaching opportunity. And so your role is to really invite people into this group. And it's free, it's nothing to do. It's really going to be 3 days of us sharing our stories, sharing before and after pictures, sharing, my hope is sharing emotional transformations, and also talking about coaching. What is it? What exactly do we do as coaches? What exactly, what does it entail? How do you get started? Also talking about a little bit about the misconceptions around coaching. And so this usually is done about once a month in different formats. And so this month we're going to do it in a 3-day format. So you would invite your person into that sneak peek. You would tell them to just kind of keep an eye on the discussion area, and there'll be kind of posts going on periodically throughout those 3 days. It's really simple, nothing too stressful. Really for you guys, it's really just kind of posting about it, sharing about it. I will tell you that how I'm approaching this right now is that I'm going to hit my social media incredibly hard over the next 48 hours, just kind of peppering about just how coaching has transformed my life. If you are, kind of a newer coach, you're going to talk about how maybe it's already started to change your mindset, right? Maybe it's already started to change how you look at the future. Maybe it's gotten you more excited. So those are ways to talk about coaching as well, because remember that not everybody is necessarily looking for, to kind of overcome their current income and make an extra income. Some people are just looking for a community. Some people are just looking to belong. Some people are looking to feel accepted, to feel beautiful. Same things that we look for in terms of customers, some people can still get that in our coaching team. And so for those of you who maybe you don't have the monetary success yet, talk about the emotional transformation, talk about those aspects, talk about the physical transformation, kind of what you've been, kind of talk about those aspects is basically what I would suggest. So the next announcement would be Super Saturday. So Super Saturday is April 8th. It's coming up. I hope you guys are making it to one in your area. So Super Saturdays are quarterly events for those who are new, and they're held every quarter. Actually, this year, they're only going to be held 3 times a year. And so the first weekend in April is going to be when it's going to be now. And then I think the next one's not going to be till September or October. And so it's a time where you can get around with local coaches, most major cities, most small towns, they're all over the country. And so you can check them out. You can look for it in the back on the online office. And so it's nothing to be afraid to go to these things. They're really kind of, it's a way for you to meet other coaches. It's a way for you to hear the announcements that corporate wants to give us. Sometimes there's a live workout there. So it's just really good to go and feel the energy. Another announcement I want to talk about was the All Access Challenge Pack with Shakeology, and 3-day reset just came out. So before, it's always been there, but if someone was interested in this challenge pack, they had to call in order to get it. So now it's actually available as a link. And so that's the announcement I wanted to let you guys know. And so this will get you the 1-year access of all the programs. It'll get you 30 days of Shakeology, and it'll get you the 3-day reset. And so the 3-day refresh. And so it gets you all 3 of those, and it's $239 for in the US. And it's a little bit more for the Canadian, not more, but in terms of the exchange, in terms of the Canadian money, it appears more. I want to put in my my kind of plug here for the National Wake Up Call. The National Wake Up Calls have been really awesome. Remember, guys, that's something that is a resource for you guys. So do not forget about them. You can listen to them in the car. You can listen to them. You can listen to the replay. So you don't necessarily have to be there Monday morning. I wanted to show you guys something about the business activity tracker, and I'll post this in the team page, but they just made a new business activity tracker, and I love it. I really, really like it. It's super simple, really easy to use, and they made it like just kind of a check mark, and I'll just kind of quickly go through this. This is what you should be doing every single day. And it has up here, you can put your name, the week of that you're going to be doing this, and the date. And if I'm your coach, you can send it to me. Look, my mom has it. Look at her. She's such a good coach. Look at her. She has it. That's awesome. And so it's really awesome, guys. And so up here, you can check off that you did your workout, up here that you did your personal development. And then down here, it's saying, did you add 3 new people to your social media? Did you make 3 posts on social media? Did you start 3 conversations? Did you invite 3 people to your challenge group? Did you follow up with 3 people? Did you talk to 3 people about the coaching opportunity? And did you recognize success of 3 people? And so this is actually a really nice kind of benchmark for you guys to be using every single day. And if you want to send it to me after the weekend, you can say, building for my future, write your goals down of what you're trying to achieve. And so definitely something, it's really nice, Courtney. Like, it's super easy to use. They've made it really user-friendly. And so I think it's something that I'm going to be teaching to my newer coaches, and I'm going to make an announcement. I'll post it in the team page so you guys can download it. And honestly, guys, if you're not tracking what you're doing, it's going to be difficult for myself or your sponsor coach to help you. And so just keep that in mind. It's like, if we can't see, if you say, oh, I'm not understanding why I'm not having success, the first thing I'm going to ask you is, how many people are you talking to a day? How much are you posting per day? How many conversations are you having? How many people are you following up with? And so if you can show me this and say, well, I've at least done this. And so, at least I'll know you're doing something. But this is kind of like a really great basics for you to really kind of build your tracking on, especially in the beginning, your first few months, even your first couple years, depending on what type of network you're building and how many people you're communicating this. Awesome. I love that you guys like it. Let me pull up my other slide. Okay. And that's the business activity tracker. I wanted to make an announcement about the April challenge group. What I'd love to do is I'm going to offer, at the end of the day, you guys are more than welcome to do your own challenge group. But what I'm going to do for April, I think it'd be great if we can team up. A lot of us can team up together and have one big challenge group on a Facebook group, and really just go in there and show team support, and just and it's going to be not only for us, but for our customers as well. And so again, you don't have to do this with us. You don't have, if you feel like you have a great system, please stick with that. You know what I mean? Like, this is more so, I just want to try to collaborate with everyone else who maybe just has 1 or 2 customers or 4 customers, or they feel like there's not enough engagement. Let's all come together, let's work together, and let's have a great April group, because it's a great springboard, especially for a lot of us that are trying to get back in shape, a lot of, even us, our own, ourselves, and us holding each other accountable, and us being the best example and really leading. So it's gonna be a team-wide challenge group. I'd love for your help and participation, and really help. When I say asking for your help, really what I want you to do is participate in it. You know what I mean? Like, just post to it and stay active and be encouraging to others, and spread motivation and love, and just kind of share tips. And it's not meant to be something extra or stressful, but really just a way for us to come together and kind of help. So it'll be for an entire group, and the entire month. It'll be on Facebook. And then there'll also be a challenge tracker associated with it, but it was not going to be mandatory if they don't want to. And then obviously getting results by leading by example. And that's a lot of announcements. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a long time. So team leader, free summit ticket for those of you who don't know. So if you hit team leader this year and you've never hit team leader, you get a free ticket to summit, the following, whatever your next summit is, which is really awesome, because there hasn't, in terms of our team is still a really young team, a lot of young leaders. And so there's still a lot of potential for so many of you to hit this benchmark throughout this year. For those of you who are not familiar with this is in the back online office. This is the leadership ladder. And this is a great way for you to really gauge. This was actually created, I would say in the past, 12 months or 12 to 15 months, I would say, or a little bit longer than that. But the idea is that these are benchmarks so that if you're building your organization, if you're building a solid organization. And so for team leader, the idea is that if you're a team leader, you are hitting Success Club 5 in the month prior, you are a diamond coach, you have 4 coaches under you that have 1 Success Club point, at least 1 Success Club point. So that's, it's definitely a leadership role. And then you have 5,000 volume on your weak leg. Now, for some of you, you're like, what is this talking about? But it's just the idea is that I want you to start becoming familiar with these terms if you've never heard them, so that as you're learning and growing, they'll become more familiar. So don't feel overwhelmed if you've never heard these terms before. You're just like, I don't understand this. You can definitely look for this in the online office. I can actually show you where it's really simple to go and find it. If you go to the online office and you just go to news and training, you click on training here, and you click on leadership ladder down here. If you click on leadership ladder down here, there's a nice video here explaining it to you. It's up here. There's some more, you can learn more about it, but this is how you can find out information. Now, for those of you who have some familiarity with the idea of volume, one way for you to know where to check for your volume is here in the main page where it says leadership ladder. If you click here, this is for you to know, especially if you're working towards this. This will tell you what your weak leg, over here are all the requirements for leadership ladder benchmarks. And so you can come and take a look and say, what were my commissions last month? Where was my Success Club? What was my highest paid rank? And then you can look at the weak leg volume, and you'll know, where am I in my weak leg volume? Where am I in that volume? And you can use that as a benchmark to know if you're growing. And volume, for those of you, again, it's something that takes time to kind of understand, but the idea is that every product has points associated with it. So the more products that are purchased under you, that increases the volume under you for that month, in like kind of rudimentary terms. So that's that. Just kind of stressing again the importance of personal development. So the personal development roll call, please, guys. Honestly, if you guys never do anything with this business, at the very least, do personal development. Like, this will change your life. This aspect of this business will change your life. And I know some of you already know that, but for my newer coaches or people who are going to be listening to this, personal development is everything. And even when you have success, or even when you taste a little bit of success in this business, you're going to continue to need personal development to kind of keep pushing you through and getting you through. So really make sure that you're reading a good book. What books are you guys reading? I'm just kind of curious as you're kind of, as I'm going through the call, just kind of comment in the comments what books you guys are reading. And I'm going to go ahead. So as I wait for you guys. But all right, and then my last thing that I wanted to say is that it's just kind of a nice, it's a nice reminder to you guys that no man is an island, right? I need you guys to understand that in a sense that we are a team, and I never want someone to feel like they're out there by themselves. And if you feel like you're out there by yourself, building something by yourself, there's an onus on you to recognize what part are you playing in that, and are you participating in a lot of the things that we're offering you, and realizing that working together and working collectively can sometimes be better, especially if you have a busy schedule, especially if you have a crazy schedule. Partnering up with people, it's not a sign of weakness, it's not, but you have to reach out and you have to communicate. And this also goes in line with the fact of participating and checking into the team page and what we're saying, coming to these calls. I mean, you guys already got a huge, check mark for me today, because like you guys are here, and you're here on the team call. And I know that you guys are incredibly busy, but realizing that that you are part of a team, and continuing to remember that, because I think sometimes because we're in this kind of virtual space, it's easy to forget that you are part of something. And especially if you haven't met us or met anyone yet within the team, it's hard for you to understand that you are part of something. And I want you guys to know that you're very much a part of an amazing team, and that we all, we are all working together towards a common goal, which is helping as many people as we can, really creating something really amazing for ourselves and for our families for the future. And we can't all do it, kind of working in our own little islands. And so just kind of keep that in mind. It's just, it's just me kind of noticing a little bit of just noticing kind of where we are with participation in team calls, and where we are in participation in team pages and in team things. Just when you actively participate and ask to help with things, you feel more a part of things, and there's more onus, there's more ownership on your end, and you're more likely to succeed when there's more ownership in that. So that's what I want to say about that. Now, going on to what I want to talk about. So in terms of, the idea behind the topic's going to be around what type of coach are you? Or not you specifically, but just kind of thinking about what type of coaches, what type of distributors there are in this world when it comes to our profession. And so the main theme of this is that never listen to what people say. Right? And I know my leaders in here, those who have brought people on, those who have coached already customers or coached other people, and they have now gone away from us, and they came in super excited. They came in with all these great goals that they shared with you, and yet all of a sudden they're gone, right? And I know a lot of us, some of us on here, we've experienced that. I've probably experienced it the most out of all of you. And it's definitely, this is why I want to bring it to your, I want to talk about it, because especially as you guys start bringing on customers, bringing on coaches, you're going to see that people are going to come in very excited. People are going to come in with empty promises, and you can't take it personally, is what I want to say. It doesn't mean that you are a horrible coach. It doesn't mean that you can't have success in this business. It has nothing to do with you personally. So never listen to what people say, watch what people do, right? I know Ashley can agree with that, and I'm sure Zakia on here can agree with that. Never watch what people say, watch what people do. And so there's 5 different types of distributors, and I'm going to go ahead and start. So, and thank you, Ashley. So number 1 is the wholesale customer. So guys, and I will tell you that most coaches come in this avenue. Most coaches come in as this type of distributor. They are a wholesale customer. And take it from me and my mistakes, and I speak about this, with my leaders very openly, that my biggest mistake, learn from people's mistakes. My biggest mistakes when I was growing very quickly, and I had the blessing of that, is that I was trying to push this business onto many people. They said they wanted to build a business, and I was trying to teach them the business, and I was trying to hold them accountable as much as I can. And they really genuinely were just customers. And I don't mean by just saying just customers, but they genuinely were not ready to start learning how to build a business. They were not ready. They just needed to be a customer first. And so understanding and recognizing that in your coaches is going to be incredibly important as you're building a team. And this just may be, even if you just have a custom, for those who don't necessarily have a team yet, Maybe it's just your customer, you know, which they genuinely are just your customer. So this part won't necessarily tie well in with customers, the rest may, but this one is kind of really looking. So your wholesale customer is that person who's getting results, they're working on themselves. We kind of call them like the discount coach, but that's all they are. That's who they are. And it's about meeting them where they are and not pushing them beyond that, right? If there's any lesson that I want you guys to get from this entire talk, is you need to meet people where they are. And you cannot want success more for a person than if they don't want it for themselves. Does that make sense? You can't want it more for them. And this goes for anything in life, really, right? This goes for, you know, any kind of whatever venture, anything you're trying to achieve. But I think it's incredibly important, especially for Courtney and Zakia on here, as you guys are growing your team, to understand, you know, what type of person are you working with? And not taking it personally and not trying to, you know, and just recognizing that people are going to say certain things when you really just need to kind of watch their actions. And so learn to see the unspoken word, which is action. And a lot of times they're going to say they're going to do things but really you'll see that they're doing their workouts, they're drinking their Shakeology, they're participating in the group. And you know what? Love them there and be with them there, because that's incredibly important. And you need that for your own organization. You need those steady group of people who are loyal customers. And because what they're doing is they're producing volume for you, they're producing volume for the team. And those are the people, and you never know, they may later on, if you keep loving on them and you keep really, you know, telling them do personal development, and they keep seeing you rise and they keep seeing you change, they may later on say, you know what, I really want to do this. And because you didn't push them away, and because you didn't try to push something on them that they weren't ready for, they're going to come around and they may be a fantastic coach later on, right? And so learn from my mistake and just really realize that this is where most people come in. And even though some of you, you know, a lot of us are, you know, we want to build and we want to have a fantastic, you know, team, most people start here. And I want you guys to realize is, think about how you guys came in, you know, think about where you were, think about how much development, personal development, I mean, you've had to do to get to this point, right? And so then you have a brand new baby coach who comes in, or a brand new coach, and they've never even heard of personal development. They read magazines or they're listening to music in their commute, and they haven't even touched personal development yet. And so just kind of realize that there is a growth that has to happen, so that you don't feel frustrated and you don't feel, you know, there's a huge patience game. There's a huge patience lesson to learn with this business. And that's why it's so important that you're constantly always bringing new customers in and bringing new people in, because you're going to have people at different stages, you know, as you kind of progress more and you kind of stick with us and you kind of progress with coaching and you have a nice timeline behind you. You're then going to see people who are going to come around because you've been there loving them where they are. The next type of distributor is a seasonal distributor. So some of you guys may have seen this in our team. You may have seen this in your own downline. These are the people who they come and go, right? It's like all of a sudden you hear from them for a couple weeks, and then all of a sudden they're gone for a couple weeks. And you're like, where did they go? And they're seasonal. It's like, you have to and accept them for who they are. Again, this is all about, the whole lesson of this is accepting people where they are. And these are the people that are going to keep popping in. They're going to keep popping out. And they're going to come in, they're going to hit Success Club 1 month, and then they're going to pop right back out. And they're going to say, oh, they're going to let life get in the way. They're going to let obstacles come in the way. They're going to have other excuses, all these other things. And one thing to learn is that we cannot beat them up when they're on their way out. Maybe they're, you know, maybe they've been hitting Success Club for a month, or maybe they've been helping people and they've been talking to you more than usual. You know what I mean? Like, you guys have seen, like, they're more active with you, and then all of a sudden they disappear. And then they come back a couple weeks later. And some of you guys may not have this experience, but I guess, again, this is me planting the seed and helping you understand that this is what happens. And so you'll have this type of coach and you'll have this type of person. And it's just recognizing them and saying, okay, said person, you know, Courtney or Ashley, you know, said, you know, that's actually none of you guys. Jane over here is, you know, is not working this right now. I'm going to love her where she is. I'm going to send her lots of great vibes. I'm going to accept her. And it's about unconditional love, regardless of their production. So definitely kind of keep that in mind. because there are people like this, and they may tell you things like, yes, I'm going to do this, and yes, I'm going to succeed, and yes, and yes, and yes, and yet nothing, right? And so just kind of understand that this type of person exists. And again, a lot of me, this is just me kind of enlightening you guys and just kind of sharing with you so that when you come across these people, you say, oh, this is that type of person that Stephanie said. Okay, so I just gotta, I gotta recognize them. I gotta love them where they are and keep moving, keep doing me, and realize that you gotta look at people's actions. This one I really like. This one is called a social distributor. So some of you may have this person. So this person is someone who just wants to be a part of the team, right? Like they want to be a part of the team, like they love you. And like when I was listening to the call and prepping for this, that I got the inspiration for this call from, these are the people who, like if you were hosting events, they come to every event and they're super excited and they genuinely love you. Like they love you. They really, really love you. And they're, for lack, they're not groupies or anything. That's a horrible term for them, but they're just people who love the team. They love the environment. They love the atmosphere. They are super helpful. They're they're just really excited and they just want to be around people. They want to be part of something, and yet they never do anything with the business. So that can be obviously incredibly frustrating for someone who's trying to build, and it's realizing that this is who they are. And we need them. We need those type of people. We need social distributors because they keep the energy up. They keep the energy light. They genuinely love the products. They love the team. They're like the super like crazy cheerleaders of our team. And they're going to be, and when you have your social distributor, they're going to be the cheerleader of you. And so understanding and then also wondering, why is it that they want to be a part of this? Maybe they have really a negative environment and this team really is for them something positive. It's a great outlet for them. And so just again, it's about loving that person where they are, because they're going to tell you what they think you want to hear. So they're going to tell you, yes, I want to build this, and yes, I'm going to do this, and yes, I'm going to build the business, and I'm going to talk to X amount of people, but then they never do anything, right? And then that's different than someone who maybe has to get through, that's a different person than someone who maybe has to work through some barriers. Like there are people who come in and they need to work through barriers. Maybe there's some insecurities. Maybe there's some underlying issues that they need to work through first before they can really take off. That's not who I'm talking about. This person genuinely has no ever plans of building. They just really genuinely just want to be a part of something. And so that's this type of person. So again, recognize them, love them, and just really treat, meet them where they are. So you have your part-time distributor. And so these are your people who are happy being part-time. They are the ones that put in a certain amount of work. Maybe they work an hour a day, they put in a certain amount of work, and they only ever reach a certain amount of income. And so they are totally satisfied with their production. They're not looking to grow this huge empire. They're not looking to grow this huge, corporation under them and a huge team under them. They are incredibly happy just, if they make $200 a month, if they make $1,000 a month, if they make $50 a month, they are happy. They'll do their vital behaviors, but they're not looking to grow a massive team, right? They're just really, this is meant to be just an extra income for them. They're a part-time distributor. And so just understanding where that person is, because also you don't want to push people away. You don't want to push people further than what they want. You need to meet them where they are. And so recognizing, the part-time distributors and loving them where they are. And then you have the full-time builder, right? The full-time builder is like myself, is like some of you, you're adding people every single month. You are not satisfied with where you are. You want to keep growing. You want to keep building. You're working, you're working all the time in terms of, and when I say all the time, meaning you have a consistent schedule that you follow every single day so that you're working this business. And that's someone to recognize as well. So that may be someone that you partner up with. That's the person to push. That's the person to constantly be checking in on, because they're building with you. They're the ones that are going to be leading, and they're constantly leading. They're constantly adding people. And so they're always pushing forward and they're always looking ahead. And so that's, excuse me. That's your full-time builder. And then there's some people who are full-time part-timers, meaning they're not necessarily, again, they're really happy with their income. They're not looking to build a massive team, but they want to kind of be at that, maybe they want to make they'd be happy making $2,000 a month. You know what I mean? Like that's, or they'll be happy making $1,000 a month or $500 a month. And they continuously do the work, but they're not growing. So that would be someone who's continuously doing the work, you know, really putting in effort, but not really going above in their income, and they're not really trying to build a massive thing. And then you have the full-time builders. And so those are the people, again, it has to do with if they're trying to grow their income and if they're trying to really build a massive team. So really meet people where they are and lead from the front, right? Every single one of you, the goal is for you to have an organization under you. And the only way that you can do that is by leading from the front. The speed of the leader, the speed of the pack. They say that in so many different ways, so many different avenues. So the faster you're growing, what you're doing, the people you bring on behind you, or your customers, for those who don't have, or your clients, they're watching you. They're not watching me, they're watching you. And so remember that, you know, kind of keep that in mind, that if you want people to have success in their fitness, guess what? You need to have success in your fitness. If you want people to post in your groups, and if you want people to stay accountable, guess what? You need to stay accountable and you need to post in your groups. If you want your team to, you know, hit Success Club, guess what? You need to hit Success Club. You need to show them, you need to lead from the front. And that's incredibly, you know, that's incredibly important and something to understand. Speed of the leader, speed of the pack. Another thing is that the only way to succeed, I want to say, is by taking action. There was this, that I actually saw, someone posted this in our 5-star and above group, and it was called the diving board. And this is for those that maybe, those of you or those who are listening to this call who kind of have been dabbling and kind of been afraid to take that jump and have really been afraid to take action. And the poem goes, you've been up on that diving board, making sure that it's nice and straight. You've made sure that it's not too slick. You've made sure it can stand the weight. You've made sure that the spring is tight. You've made sure that the cloth won't slip. You've made sure that it bounces right and that your toes can get a grip. And you've been up there since 5:30. You've been doing everything, but you need to dive. And so they posted this and they had shared this in their team about the fact that it's about action. The only way you can succeed is by doing, is by acting, is by, you know, learning and failing forward, as I've told you guys so many times. And so let people fit where they are going to fit. And this has been a hard lesson for myself over the years. I'm much better with it now. But for those of you who are young leaders, you're going to have to go through this lesson of really letting people fit where they're going to fit and not trying to push them, and really kind of, you know, loving people where they are. And it's a lesson that I wish I could like save you guys from, but it's something that everyone has to go. You know, I wish I could just say, okay, you don't need to do this. Like just, you know, understand the feelings, understand the emotions, because it's tough, you know, and understanding that it doesn't mean, you know, if people are not working this business, at the end of the day, realizing that everyone has all the resources available to them. They genuinely do. They don't need you or me to have success in this business. Anyone's going to come in, you know, the person, the go-getter, if they want to learn, even the person who just wants more direction, you can go onto the online office and go check out a Coach Basics, and it gives you exactly word for word what you need to do. And so never take responsibility, never feel that pressure that if someone doesn't succeed, it's on you. You know what I mean? It's the same way, like you cannot take recognition for someone's success, just like we can't take recognition for their failure. And that's been a hard lesson, and understanding, you know, that that's going to happen. It's going to happen where people are going to come in and they're going to be at a certain level when they're going to say that they want to build and they're not ready to build, or they're going to say they want to lose weight, but really, you know, that they don't want to lose weight. because if they did, they would be doing their workout. They wouldn't be avoiding you. They wouldn't be avoiding your conversations. They would be working on their nutrition. They would be posting in the group. If people really want it, and they would make time for it, right? You know, how many people say they don't have time to work out? They don't have time for this. And they, you know, they really, if they wanted to do it, they would find a way. If they want, who was I talking to? I was talking to one of the coaches, I forgot who is not on here. And we were talking about prepping. Ashley, I don't know if you want to say something, but they were talking about prepping. Oh, okay. They were talking about prepping and how she didn't have time to prep. And I was like, yes, you do have time to prep. If you were told that you have cancer and the only way you're going to cure your cancer is by following a specific meal plan and making sure that you eat it every 3 hours, trust me, you would find a way to make it work, right? Like if it means enough to you, you would find a way to make it work. And so so understand that it has nothing to do with you. It doesn't mean that you are a poor coach if someone's not doing their fitness program. I know a lot of times, sometimes people feel bad when someone buys from them and they don't do the program. Let me tell you guys, I never feel bad. Because at the end of the day, like, that's on them. If they choose not to do the workout program, that's on them. If they choose not to drink their Shakeology, if they're letting that kind of sit. But I know some people, they feel bad. You know, some people are like, well, I want them to have success. And I feel like, you know, I must, you know, it has nothing to do with you. So understand that, right? And really, because I know these are the feelings. I've gone through all these feelings. You know, if you reach out and you get crickets back, that's on them. Exactly. If you're constantly reaching out and you're constantly sharing, and they're not saying anything, that's on them. And again, this is going to happen with customers, and it's going to happen with your downline too. When you start having coaches, guys, you're going to see that you're going to be offering things. You're going to have groups. You're going to have calls, and then no one's going to show up, or not enough people are going to show up, or they're not going to listen to the post, or they're not even going to look at the post. And I will tell you, I think that's the hardest thing in this business is when it's not even necessarily the customers, like the customer aspect of this. I think the hardest thing that I've learned from this business, the hardest lessons have come from the team side, have come from the coaches that leave, that come from the messages. Like, we actually got a message, you know, recently that, you know, that a person felt unsupported and they wanted to feel supported more. And you know, Luke and I are looking at each other like, we're like dumbfounded. Like, we don't understand, like, how much more stuff can we give? How much more time can we offer? How much, at the end of the day, we're not mind readers, just like you guys are not mind readers, right? You guys don't know if a coach is struggling, you don't know. And so, or you're gonna have coaches that are gonna leave and they're going to go to another team. That also hurts. That also stings. That happened to me yesterday, where a person who used to be on our team long time ago, newsfeed post comes up, and it's like, I'm super excited to announce that I'm a Beachbody coach, and I'm just signing, and you know, I'm going to be working with my coach at someone else. And I noticed that it was not me, because I was just like, oh, look at so-and-so posting. And I will say this, guys, when that happens, because it's going to happen, I'm going to tell you, it's going to happen. It hurts. You acknowledge it, but I always will message them, and I always ask for feedback. And a lot of them, I actually messaged her right away yesterday when I saw the post, and I said, hey, I'm super excited. I'm super happy that you found someone that you can connect with. I'm just curious as to, you know, why did you leave the team? Why did you switch teams? You know, I would love to learn and would love to hear your honest feedback. I really do. I kind of do want to know what happened so that I can learn from that, because that's how you learn too, where you're slipping up, where you can improve, and having that maturity to do that. But it still hurts and it still stings. Like, I was actually talking with Brooke Lipoff. A lot of you guys know Brooke and follow Brooke. And she's been working with someone for 1.5 years, almost 2 years, someone she's been a customer that she's been dying to sign up as a coach. And then that person's going to sign up with someone else. And she's like she's up, she was incredibly upset. And I can, you know, and it just happens. It happens to all of us. And so if you recognize that it's going to happen, talk about it with us, you know, when it happens. I'm going to say that too, that don't hold in the frustrations of this. Talk about it with someone. Reach out to me and say, wow, Stephanie, this really sucks that this happened. And so that you can let it out, because sometimes your spouse won't understand. Sometimes, you know, I'm fortunate I have Luke here and he understands, but yeah, he understands, because sometimes, oh man, if you guys, if only sometimes the things that get said, it's just really funny. But but I want to serve as that person for you if you don't have someone for me, because trust me, we can kind of yell over it and just, but yeah. So anyway, basically you can only control your actions, right? And so that's kind of that's really how I wanted to end this call, was just kind of understanding that at the end of the day, the only actions that you can control are yourself. The only motive that you can control is yours. The only vision that you have control over is yours. And at the end of the day, you cannot force other people to build. You have to recognize where they are. You cannot force people to lose weight and use the products. You have to recognize where they are. And I say this again, just so that you guys do not take, at the end of the day, I know you guys, it's going to happen. Something's going to happen along what we've said, and you're still going to take it personally, and it's still going to suck. And I recognize that, but just kind of try to keep in mind what I've said, that it happens to all of us. It doesn't mean that you're a horrible coach. It doesn't mean that you can't have success. It's just something that's going to happen. And so that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to open it up and see if you guys have any questions outside of this or anything. I have one challenger that just stopped talking to me. Oh, yeah, I understand. It's like, it really, really is frustrating. And just keep following up. I'm telling you, you don't know how many times, like, we just keep following up. Even if they're crickets, you'll be surprised. People are like, wow, you continue to follow up. And so don't be afraid to keep following up, even if they're crickets, because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on in their life, and so and obviously I think we take it personally because we've put so much time and effort into trying to develop a relationship with them. But at the end of the day, it's a realization that, at the end of the day, they're probably busy with their own life, and it has nothing to do with us. And they're just kind of this is not a priority to them. Really, that's really what it is. It's not a priority to them. And so don't take it personally, because they're not thinking about you. I hate to say it, but that's kind of how I've learned. Any questions, comments? You're welcome, Blair. But we all get crickets. Awesome. All right, guys. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming on and taking the time. I'll post this in the team page. All right, guys. Have an amazing, amazing rest of the week. Bye.